Hi guys, I'm Saumya and I'm back again with another video. So I hope you are all well and I hope you are all staying home and staying safe. So in today's video, I am going to talk about the 5 books that I have read by John Green. So if you are a book lover, then you should definitely subscribe to Saumya'sbookstation because I make loads of bookish content on this channel. And please let me know in the comments which is your favorite book by John Green. And if you like this video, please do give it a like and also leave a comment. And don't forget to press the bell icon so that you get notified every time I post a new video. And if you want to follow me for more bookish updates, or sometimes non-bookish updates, you can also follow me on my Instagram at @thatdesibooklover. So we all know that John Green is one of the most famous authors of young adult fiction, and almost every reader out there has either read a book by John Green or is planning to read a book by John Green. So I thought I should make this video since I've read 5 books by him, and I remember my first read by John Green was The Fault in Our Stars back in 2014. If you have read John Green books, you'll probably agree that his books give you so many book quotes to quote after you've finished the book, so that's, I think, amazing. So I'll start by talking about The Fault in Our Stars, which, as I told you, was my first ever read by John Green and one of the 2 physical books by him that I own. So The Fault in Our Stars was something that I came to know about in 2014 because the movie of this book had released in 2014. So everybody around me was talking about The Fault in Our Stars, but the movie, not the book. So I decided to check it out. Then I found out that there is a book on which the movie is based with the same name. So I obviously went for the book. The Fault in Our Stars is a story about a 17-year-old Hazel, Grace Lancaster and Augustus Waters. So Hazel has thyroid cancer and she attends Cancer Kids support group. While attending the support group meet, Hazel comes across this guy named Augustus Waters. Hazel tells him about her thyroid cancer. He reveals that he had osteosarcoma, but after getting his leg amputated, he's pretty much cancer free. So they become friends, and basically The Fault in Our Stars is about Hazel and Augustus and some other characters as well. So it's a story about love, it's a story about friendship, and on the whole it's a very emotional story that makes you cry buckets, because that's what happened with me. I remember that when I had read this book for the first time, it had blown my mind because this book made me feel so many things all at once. Reading The Fault in Our Stars is like undertaking a journey that is beautiful, and yet you heavily anticipate that it is going to end painfully, but you undertake this journey anyway because it is so worth it. I remember distinctly that when I had read this book, it had had a huge impact on me as a human being because it had put a lot of things in perspective. I realized at that point that whatever you have, you should cherish your life. The next book that I would like to talk about is Turtles All the Way Down. This is my second physical copy that I own by John Green, and after this the rest 3 I have as ebooks. So Turtles All the Way Down is a story about a 16-year-old girl named Asa who suffers from OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder. So her life is normal on the surface. She has a good family, a stable life, supportive friends, but it is her internal struggle that we read about in this book. Also, there is a mystery going on in the backdrop of the story. So the reason that I had really liked reading Turtles All the Way Down was because I was able to empathize with Asa's character to such an extent that this book really made me emotional. I remember I had cried a lot while reading this book every now and then, even though I had not been able to relate to Asa's character, but John Green had explained her character's struggle so well and so convincingly. To me, it felt like I was feeling what Asa was feeling. Asa also has a best friend called Daisy, who is, you can say, kind of the breath of fresh air in this book. And then there is this other character named Davis Pickett. This is a story about Asa's mental health, her OCD, and it is also a story about her friendship with Daisy and her friendship with Davis. On the whole, this is a very different book from The Fault in Our Stars in terms of the story, in terms of the theme, but I didn't feel that it was any less effective or impactful. Also, while I'm talking about this book, I cannot just ignore mentioning about this absolutely lovely book jacket of Turtles All the Way Down, because on the inside of this jacket there are all these John Green quotes that I love to read. The next book that I would like to talk about is Paper Towns. So Paper Towns is a story about Quentin Jacobson and Margot Spiegelman, who are neighbors and they are in the senior year of their high school. but they haven't spoken to each other since they were 9 years old because Margot became popular and well, Quentin did not become popular. But this sort of changes when one night Margot kind of breaks into Quentin's room through his window and she tells him to become her driver slash partner in crime in exacting revenge from Margot's friends who had wronged her. So we get to read about this all-night adventure that they go on, which was honestly kind of fun to read about. And then the next day Margot disappears and Quentin starts looking for her and finding clues to look for her. So that is basically the story of Paper Towns. Now I remember that I had not liked this book that much because the primary reason was that I hadn't been able to connect to any of the characters in the book. After a point I was not sure what was going on because the story seemed scattered to me. Also, as in the case of The Fault in Our Stars and Turtles All the Way Down, the characters had been likable and they were relatable, but that was not the case with Paper Towns. I did not hate or dislike any of the characters, but the fact that I could not relate to them or connect to them in any form was enough for me to kind of not like this book that much. On the whole, reading this book had not been a memorable experience at all. Although when I had read the book and when the concept of the term Paper Towns was revealed in the book, that was something that I definitely liked, but that was it. The story could not hold my attention, it could not hold my heart. So as a result of that, Paper Towns for me is a book that I will never recommend you to pick up, telling you that it's a good book or that you should definitely go for this book, because in my opinion it's the kind of book that you can afford to skip. So the next book is Looking for Alaska. So the story begins with Miles Halter leaving Florida and his public school behind to move to Alabama, where he is to attend a boarding school. The reason for his leaving Florida and moving to Alabama is that he is seeking a grade perhaps, and basically he's tired of living a friendless existence and he seeks excitement and friends, and good news, he gets both of them. So in his boarding school he ends up making friends, he ends up having adventures, and he ends up meeting a girl named Alaska Young who is everything he ever wanted. She is hot, she is opinionated, and she's kind of moody and mysterious. So we read about a lot of school rivalries, school pranks. So on the whole, on the surface, it's a lot of fun going on in the book, but as we read the story, we also uncover some darker themes. And Miles Halter, who is the narrator of this book, has this passion for remembering the last words of the famous people, the words that they spoke before dying. So that adds to a philosophical angle in the story. While reading about Alaska's character, I would have wondered why people liked her so much, except that I have personal experience with girls like that in my own life. When you meet somebody like that, chances are that you end up liking them, because that's what happened with me. So from that perspective, Alaska's character has been depicted pretty accurately. On the whole, I'll say that sometimes this book kind of got a little bit immature-ish because of Miles' narration, the way he described Alaska, the way he talked about her. My favorite bits of this book were the final few pages, because I feel those final few pages were the best part in the book. They were the perfect way of ending the story. I did not absolutely love this book as so many people do, but I did not dislike it as well. It was a nice book. The next book is An Abundance of Katherines. Now, this is a story about a 17-year-old boy named Colin Singleton who is a child prodigy, and he has two major concerns in his life. That number one, he is afraid that he's never going to matter, and secondly, that he's always getting dumped by girls named Katherines. So well, that is the concept of the story. I finished this book very recently, in fact just a day or two back. The kind of times that are going on these days, this book really took my mind off of things, and for that I'm really grateful. So Colin is dumped by Katherine number 19 and he's absolutely heartbroken. So his friend Hassan suggests a road trip with no destination. They end up in Tennessee, they get a job. All through the story, Colin Singleton keeps trying to develop this theorem, this mathematical formula that can basically let us know what will be the conclusion of any relationship, who will be the dumper and who will be the dumpy. It was kind of preposterous, to be honest, but still quite fun to read. And as I said, this book was a stress buster for me personally in these times. So I would say that It was a fun read, one time, although this is not the kind of book that you read again and again. One thing that I found mildly annoying was that the formula and the theorem on which Colin kept working kept showing up in the book every now and then, along with the graphs that he was preparing. So that was something that I found a little bit inconvenient to decipher. I tried, but then I would give up very quickly. An Abundance of Katherines has some good characters. I won't say that Colin Singleton, who's the protagonist, is a good character himself. He's okay, but the other characters in this book are pretty good to read about. So that's it. I have talked about the 5 books that I have read by John Green, and I have also shared my thoughts on these books. I hope you will share your thoughts on the books that I've talked about. You can let me know in the comments which is your favorite John Green book. I'll look forward to hearing from you. So that was it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you want to connect with me on my social media, the links are in the description box. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye and take care and stay safe.